Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel, coming on a few minutes early. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. I look at everything, but we take a lot of time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they played as karmic themes to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. If you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life, you always want to pretty much understand why toxic energy or difficult energy comes into our life, because a lot of times we don't see ourselves that way. And so we want to understand why things are happening from a spiritual perspective so that we can integrate the spiritual lesson. When you integrate the spiritual lesson, you also alchemize the negative energy, and you do that by stepping into a whole new energy. That's how you transform it. You turn fear into fire, and that's by channeling that pain from the trauma into something creatively, right? Into a passion. All right. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you know where to find it. It's in the description box for those of you that want shadow healing coaching from a more real, being able to coach opposed to just doing readings. I have opened a school finally, and that's on the platform School. So I like it because it's done on Zoom. It's very interactive because you get to see each other, but I get to share PDFs. I get to share the exercises. We do the exercises, and there's a lot more perks, which I'm not going to waste your time with. But if you're someone that's in need of shadow coaching, group coaching is very therapeutic. And I'll tell you one thing, it's because a lot of times when you share with people about your trauma, because you say, well, I want to share, I want to tell my person about what has transpired to me in the past. A lot of times what people see is the current relationships winds up treating them the same way. People tend to treat you the same way. And then they say, well, the person knew what I went through, so why did they do that to me? It's because you showed them how. And so hurt people. So we never really want to share about that kind of stuff with, people, even friends. It's not, because people tend to treat you the way that they, see fit. So when you expose that part of yourself, like I said, you become a magnet to people that want to do it more. And so it's about integrating it, because what it is you're saying, I don't want this person to hurt me, so I'm going to tell them. But, they didn't know anything about you before. Relationships take time, and understand you have to make a person give you time. And that's not by exposing everything, because then it's like, I get what I want because I know what you needed because you just told me. And I don't really want this relationship anymore. I don't value it. Now I see you the way that other people see you, when you're like, I didn't even do anything. And so Spirit says, until you heal that. And so healing it is understanding why you contributed, or how you contributed, and what you could do to shapeshift the energy. That's what it's really all about. All right. But I always start by looking at your energy first, what you need to know of, just for your own healing, your own evolution, and sometimes the energy that you're dealing with from person may bleed into it, but I always hope that it doesn't, because like I said, you can usually see if there's spiritual blockages. It's going to run through everything, because it's confidence. That's why it's really important to surround yourself with people that are really going to love you and know who you are. I'm going to pull 3 from my deck, and we're going to pull, and there's no rhyme or reason to how many that I pull or what decks that I pull. They're all kind of random. And we're going to look at some archangels and then end off with some wounds. Because we are complex people, that's why. And so when you use all different decks, it really does give you, in my opinion, diversity. I kind of fell out. All right. So what we got is fantasizing. What we got is release fear and ancestral karma and omniscience. So this already tells me that there's a real, like, someone's at my door. I mean, I'm going to try and ignore it. No, I can't. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I'm doing a podcast right now. I am so sorry for that. I was like, I'm doing a podcast right now. Like, I'm so sorry. And here in Florida, people ring your door all the time. All the time. It's really irritating over like soliciting and stuff. And it didn't really happen up in New York, and when you live in an apartment, that just doesn't really happen. Anyway, so I'm feeling like, again, already, like, it's whether we want to or not, a relationship is tied right into your overall energy right now. And it doesn't mean, it's not because you're thinking of this person. You're connected to someone that's fantasizing heavily about you. And understand how I know this is because omniscience is God. God is omnipotent, omniscience, omnipresent, is everywhere all the time. It's all knowing. It's the air that we breathe. It's what gives us life. It's ubiquitous. And so when we're releasing fear and ancestral karma, well, that's when we get our soulmates. That's when we get our twin flame relationships. So because those wounds are deep. It's that you were born into a family. That family had habits and behaviorisms based on whatever they lived. So if your great grandfather fought in a war, well, guess what? That's trauma. If women were persecuted, if you were Black, if you were Spanish, if you were any type of different, from what a white person, and I'm a white person, so I'm saying it, understand you were made to live like from a lower consciousness, and not just like the color of skin, but like religion, just whatever the karma was collectively that was happening to your ancestors. So they formed habits and behaviorisms that were in alignment with that trauma. And when a person lives like that, unfortunately, relationships are difficult, because when a person has that much trauma from war or from um, poverty consciousness, or like suppression, any type of energy that takes a person out of alignment with their true self, if that happened to that person and they didn't have any spiritual knowledge of how to deal with it, well, unfortunately, they're going to form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with survival. Their survival for what's happening. So, unfortunately, if you grow up in a war and there is like a depression going on, well, then they're told that there's not enough, and then there's always this perception that they're not good enough, and so these ancestral karmic wounds are passed down, and they're passed down through the behaviorism. So how your parents talk to you, how they treated you, is also part of that. Because fear is like, is obviously fearing that you're not good enough, you're not worthy, but due to these experiences that actually have absolutely nothing to do with you. So you'll be like, I don't know, it's always been this way. I've always had a problem with finances. I've always had a problem. And that's when you're born into generational curse. And a generational curse is just, they haven't learned it. But this person has very strong unconditional love for you. but it's like very passionate, you know? And there may be a very like a lot of chemistry and a lot of passion, but nothing else, right? And so that's part of that. And I say that because we got projections, we got control wound, we got anxiety, and we got reactive abuse, right? So automatically these wounds right there show us about a like person that wants control and they project. So you might say like they I have a very like we have very strong chemistry, but everything that this person accuses me of is what they do. Everything that people say that I do is what they do, and it is a way of controlling, it's a way of manipulating, it's a way of, that a person will manipulate to create anxiety and fear in hopes that you will react and react badly so that the focus could be on what you do. So it's almost like, I don't know, this person like just I like I said is um brings out this energy, which by the way, when we're talking about fear and ancestral karma, well, control is one thing that happens where parents are imbalanced, they're not taking the time and nurturing the connection a lot of time, or they don't have the resources to, but then they're also extremely controlling due to fear. It's not that they don't love their child, it's like they over love their child. They're putting their like, oh my god, this happened to me, I don't want it to happen to you. And so, in that, again, you wind up getting those thoughts and those beliefs unconsciously. It's not a conscious thing. Or your parent really it was abusive. And, they made you perceive something about yourself that wasn't true. So, again, all for control, all so that you would react. And so you might react emotionally, especially when you're like, wait a minute, this isn't me, this is you. You're projecting onto me what you keep doing. And Spirit's saying it creates a lot of anxiety and fear within inside of yourself, where it's almost like I don't have control over the environment. And Spirit says you don't need control over the environment. You need control over yourself, because that person is going to do that, because there's wounds there to begin with. And Spirit's saying this is the energy that is like needs to be. Look, enchantment. That's that mystical energy that is with its soulmate twin flame. I am presence goes back to talking about God. The whole point to these type of relationships is to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is obviously not what we feel when we're dealing with them. So Spirit's saying, well, that shows you how much healing that you need, because no one should be able to make you feel that way. So that's why you're getting it. They're old wounds. They're not even like yours. So you can't even say, how did this happen? How did this come about? It's always happened. And the Spirit says, stifled, bored, and stuck, which is that energy when a person like again feels like, well, the same things keep happening that I've inherited from my family and my ancestors, which makes me perceive that there's something wrong with me. Where God says, your presence, you are me in physical form. So I'm going to bring you things that make you heal, to help you revert back to the energy of unconditional love. So you may not like a lot of the experiences that are happening in your life where you're like, I don't understand this. It's like people make it like I do something wrong when I'm not the one that does anything wrong. People disrespect me, people do this, people do that, understand that. And spiritual says this is a time of powerful personal growth. And that's through, again, shifting your perception. And shifting your perception is not all the time that people it's not all the time that people get triggered and project because they don't like you. It's because you're exposing something with inside of them. So the challenge a lot of times is to be true to yourself and not react. When you react, what you're saying, like in a negative way, it's almost like a negative way would be overly defending yourself, trying to like talk things out. It's like you're giving your power away. where Spirit says this is about, yes, to have empathy and that sensitivity, which with karmic relationships we should have, but it's about understanding that, yes, this is a very spiritual connection, and the spiritual connections, and not just with the person that, you may be having this weird type of on again, off again relationship with, um, or a person that's not really there. We're going to about to see. And when I say not really there, they could be there, but not there, and also not there, but also their energy connected to you. All that would be considered weird. Um, but it makes you perceive that there's something wrong and you don't have control, where Spirit says you actually have a lot of control, because this is a spiritual connection. Again, and God always wins. The energy is always like to help revert back to the energy of unconditional love, but it depends on what you do, right? Again, if there's many different realities, well, why does one reality keep playing out? And Spirit says, well, again, people tend to have a lot of power through projection, through making you perceive a certain way. But when you stand in your truth, and that's, again, the truth is, when you're living your truth, you're living like in alignment with God's laws, because you're open to receiving, you're at ease because of it. It's an energy. When we're not, and we're trying to, create some facade, it means that we feel that there's something wrong with us, and the universe won't respond well to that, is why that happens. And Spirit's saying that spiritual relationships make both people change. And so there's that, but there's also like this big contradiction and paradox, which understand that's where the wounds are. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. So you'll get caught up in the emotion. The key is not to get caught up in the emotion, is what Spirit's saying, because the emotion is not really real. It's based on, a fear that you know might have happened in the past, or happened to someone that you cared about in the past, or just a thought. I am sorry for all the pain that I've caused. If you really want to know where this person feels, this is what they feel. But they have a lot of, again, red flags. They know that you're not going to be able to see past the red flags. That's the issue. Like, will you be able to, see me the same way, is what I feel like this person is concerned about. And so, yes. Would you still want me after all this? That's like what I said. This person's sitting in a place of like, oh my God, like I did a lot of shit, where I feel like this person purposely did things, like, and now they're regretting it, obviously. And these were just random. Well, it's like justice, because they know that they lost you. That's what they feel like, is again where that you raised your energy, where Spirit says you might have raised your energy somewhat, but there still needs to be this energy. Because if we're feeling like reaction, this person may want to come back into your life and, get a reaction, because they're sorry. They still have feelings. I'm not saying that they won't, but we're going to go differently. But that's where my intuition went, because it's like, would that come out? And so when we're talking, things just come out of my mouth, and afterwards I'm not even sure why I said them. This person feels very emotionally connected to you, and I feel like they're not good with the emotions. They don't show that. And so there's almost a sense that you're supposed to be able to read their mind, because, hey, we have this strong spiritual connection. So that's what you should focus on. And, there's a sense that you didn't do that. Let's see what this person did do, which is usually the usual, which is didn't give enough time, and made the person feel not as important. And I say that only because the person is like emotionally not intelligent, Like they're like things come out of my mouth that I don't realize that I say, where it's like, come on, it's like this person is tired. They're just tired of like the same thing that keeps happening to them. They don't really trust themselves in relationships. They don't trust. So I feel like they never really gave you really enough energy, but not because they didn't want to, but because they might have just gotten out of a relationship. There was still chaos going on in this person's relationship, and they've never healed and they've never recovered from it. Again, they were grieving. That's why they were in a place of they didn't heal. Now, does that mean that they had feelings for that person? No, I feel like they grieved their life though, and but they still needed. So there was a sense that this person did come to you and want the emotional support, and that's really what it was. And they didn't care about what your needs were, but they were in a place of need. They were only thinking about themselves, is what Spirit was saying. They didn't do the healing. And so, just because there's a spiritual connection, they want the connection, but they don't really, they haven't done the work to be able to actually maintain this connection. And so remember, there's programming that needs to be cleared. Like the relationship feels like it's like an oxymoron. It's like it's a polarity. It's just the opposite. And that's when a person has psychological reversals. They get in their own way due to past experiences. So even though the relationship is like strong, they have a strong spiritual connection. It's like everything that they do is just like out of alignment. And Spirit says just fear, obligation, guilt. Again, where that says they were unclear of what they wanted. So it was like the fear of like already I have obligation from past relationship and guilt because the relationship didn't work out, and just a lot of fear. So it just tried to like didn't never really wanted to make a decision one way or the other about advancing in the relationship. They wanted you to be there and act like it was going to be, but they weren't going to give it, they weren't going to be consistent. They weren't going to make you feel safe, and again, not because I think that they were purpose. I feel like, after you told them a few times, then it was like, this is just what keeps happening. But that's because they have so much fear from, again, losing everything. I already have obligations. What if this doesn't work out? Taking all their baggage from the previous relationship and dumping it into this relationship. So it's when Spirit's saying, so being with them, it would always have to be like, that they weren't 100% honest. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's because I feel like they would say things in the heat of the moment, but on a logical level, they knew that they weren't ready for the relationship that they were promising. They wanted you to kind of get swept away and not see that, is what Spirit says again, because hey, we have this connection, you're going to fall head over heels for me. But I feel like that's just not who you are, even though you had a strong connection to them. You're like, well, I've learned, I have discernment, for some of you. Others of you probably did go, and that's why, there's this separation now where this person is like, what are they going to do about it? Because what we see is that they're thinking, I don't even think that you would want me anymore because of that, because it was one sided. They were selfish and they didn't care about your needs. But I think that even if they came clean, they'd be like, well, not that they had feelings for the other person, but it's like they were still like not ready. So it came out as more like strategy. When we ask what that person is doing now, is again, they're planning, they're trying to strategize. I don't like that energy because it's again, you're not being vulnerable. You're not going to be transparent. You're going to have to read between the lines. And there's a sense of, well, maybe you still have this passion for me. So you fall head over heels and maybe like, or you're going to react to me like in a negative emotional way. So the key is neither one. Don't give this person either one. because they're not healed. They're not. Um, they don't want you to move on, and that's the thing. It's like it's been a long time. You're not doing anything. They don't know what's going on in your life. There's a sense that this person would love to control. Um, again, there's a sense of them wanting to control. And I felt that. It's like a way that where you would be like codependent on them because they're not whole. They haven't done the healing. They met you when they weren't really even in a relationship, or the relationship had ended and they acted like they weren't going to care. Now they're all fucking broken. It's like like you didn't care. You only care about yourself. It's like, and that's why this person is like afraid because they're like, oh, well, I'm going to get into another relationship. It's going to be worse. Instead of saying, no, I'm going to evolve into a higher state of consciousness. That's the thing. You're uplifting to this person. You're that person. So they're going to want a good supply. And I hate to say it like that, but it's like, where has a learning? Are they coming back saying, I'm sorry? No, they're strategizing, they're planning to come back because, hey, they already know that time's up, that you're not interested. But it's a sense of, we had this connection and I don't really want you to move on. So again, very selfish energy. It's like because they regret again and they know that you're not leaving it in the past and they feel like it can't be changed now, and that you see them as a disappointment and you want to let it go. And so they created a lot more problems for themselves, is what Spirit's saying. So, now they're lonely and they're detached, and really, instead of them taking time to go within, which is really what they need to do that healing, is more strategizing and thinking about having a new beginning with you. So, again, which is kind of like a little bit of a fairy tale. So, and they have that because, hey, I still think about you, and there really is a spiritual connection. So maybe you won't really think about how I treated you in the past. Maybe you won't talk about it. Or maybe if I could get you to react, then it becomes about the reaction and it's not about, and then the reaction makes me feel good because then it shows me how much you feel about me because right now not giving me anything, so I don't know. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to strategize. I don't like the energy. I'm not going to lie. It's like, because it's like, does this person think that they're genuine? Yes. They don't think that there's anything wrong with what they do. And that's the thing. They don't want to look at how they treated you. They don't want to be sincere. They still want to act like it's a chess fucking game. And really, but then they expect you to be all nice and loving and be open to, like, again, the romance. That's really what it is. It's like, I want you to be because you're my soulmate, you're my person. But it's, again, it would be like very much like a contract. Like, is that person does have feelings for you. They do, in their mind, they really are passionate about you. They really want a second chance with you. They really are contemplating it. They don't think that there's a 50-50 chance. Maybe you're not going to take them back. They worry about it. They have anxiety about it. So they become a little bit obsessive about it, and they usually get what they want when they're like that crazy obsessive. So, in their mind, like I said, look at this shit. I can't lie. 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance. I have a 50-50 chance that you'll take me back because of this connection that we have. And either way, I'm going to try and figure out one way or the other. Either you're going to take me back or I'm going to get you to react, and that's going to make me feel good. Don't give this person anything. No emotion at all. Great, good to see you. Yes, okay, no problem. I wouldn't even let them like explain because they're gonna make the virgin back. You know what I'm saying? They want to rise this, again, transform it. That's really what it is, and it's mainly because, hey, you're okay without them. Again, you can expect it if that, like, from now into the summer. Like, again, this is what this person is, again, coming back. They are, because they don't want it to be over. They don't want it to be over. They know the task at hand, and the task at hand is that I have to win this person over. So because of how they treated you. So, have they done all the healing? No. Do they want to resurrect this? Yes. Do they realize how they didn't give anything? Yes. My issue is that I feel like this person did what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? I feel like they did what they wanted to do, which is not do anything until now that it's like too late. And the thing is, it's like things are happening for you, it looks like, and Spirit's saying, you know, either way, when it's a soulmate twin flame relationship, whether you're with this person or you choose not to be with this person, it doesn't matter because both parties are still clearing the karmic patterns. So when you would see this person come back to you and they have feelings, well, you don't have to take them back, and that would be their karma. If you take them back, it teaches what unconditional love really is. Now you might be like, I don't want to forgive them, and Spirit says you have the right not to. You might say, I don't feel the same way anymore about them, and that again would be their karma. God says, I don't care whether you're with them or not. I don't really care what happens. I care that people, again, learn the spiritual lesson to evolve. And believe me, if you wind up with someone else, this person will be devastated because in their mind, they really do have feelings for you. It's just they're not an emotional person. They're going to strategize. They're more of a business person. They're more that person. And that's kind of like a little bit of a narcissist, like you said, in the moment. And so you have to understand that they're going to bring out every single block inside of you because the twin flame makes you rise to the occasion. And so, if even though this person and you never took off per se, you know, just them being in your life and activating those wounds and making you look at them and making you change is transformational. They choose to stay a past life karmic mate, and that Spirit says we have to look at the spiritual cards relationship cards then to see, well, what are they like actually thinking, because we know that they want to come back, that there's a part of them that really want to come back. When I let myself go deeper into thought of you, I can feel my heart opening. Well, again, twin flame connection, that's the whole point. The heart is not open because both parties were born into ancestral karma, and that's generational curses. So there might have been addictions, alcoholism, there could have been, just toxic behavior, which, families are supposed to create support and show unconditional love. Both parties were not shown this. So they've had problems manifesting within their life, is what Spirit says. Um, I've been so grounded all my life. It's hard for me to trust trust the spiritual elements of our connection, yet I can't deny that they exist. This person very logical, analytical, fact. What I see is what I know is what I believe. Very survival, very cold, very like normally, where that's not who you are. You're very spiritual, but there's this connection that this person is like, and they're like, I need to figure it out, and it's like they're never going to figure it out. It's not designed to figure out. It's like love is strange. It's weird. It's again, and that's really what it is. So Spirit's saying, our love will manifest through the union of heart and mind. Expanding these areas allows our love to grow. So it's there. Both parties may realize that there's still a strong spiritual connection, but without actually feeding the connection, it doesn't really do anything. And where I feel like you're not doing anything. I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but I judge this situation instead of surrender to it. Yeah, because they can't control it. It's like, again, so they're in this logical mind, but the problem is, I long for you. I long for your touch. So it's again, there's always that passion, right? The passion that happens when you're like, I'm connected to this person. I'm going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing makes sense right now. but they're in their old patterns and they can't see it. So it's again where they're fighting themselves and they're not making it easy to go through this process, is what Spirit's saying. And but the thing is, what's creating it is also they feel you pulling away, like you're like I feel like I am under a time schedule. And they are, because they wasted a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's finally catching up to them. I'm beginning to focus on our mission, and our connection is part of that twin flame connection. Again, where this person admires what you do, maybe they want to help you with whatever it is that you're doing, but they still need healing, because I feel like I don't I don't feel deserving, and it's affecting their levels of to be able to manifest. And what it is that they hurt you before and they're sorry and they don't know whether you can forgive them. So that's the block. So they're going to have to just surrender their ego. It just goes back to the same thing, which is person is thinking heavily of you, but they're like, I don't know whether you're going to give me a second chance. I don't know if I could fix this. I've realized who you are. Well, what makes this person all of a sudden uh, realize who you are, aside from the fact that you walked away? Like, I mean, is there any other, like, I'm just curious, and inquiring minds just want to know. Um, let's see. Well, it's again, Spirit says, well, it's kind of like redundant. Okay, so well, maybe we'll look at some healing cards and just say, all right, well, what other insight? It's the book. All right, let's see. Surrender. So it's almost like this person's just tired of fighting it. It's like, I'm tired of having this connection. Like, I'm tired of it because I feel like I can't move forward. It's like, I didn't treat you well, but and here it is. I still have this connection to you. And I'm tired of fighting it. I'm tired of, so this is really what it is. And God says, that's when you know a person really does love you, because they surrendered their ego. And this person had a big ego. So they were not, yeah, beginnings. They want new beginnings. And that's through the angel cards. So, random deck, but Spirit's saying it's like that's what they want. It's like they want a new beginning, and it's because you're moving on. They're nervous because they haven't done enough of the healing. So, what would be the advice for a person that has this? Because if it is a twin flame connection, you can tell the person all day long not to be with them, you know. Um, but the passion a lot of times makes it very difficult not to want to be with the person. So we're gonna pull like just a few. For those of you that want to be with the person, for those of you that don't want to be with the person, we'll also see why you attract this person into your life, what needs to be integrated in order to not pull a person to you that is going to expose certain things that need to still be healed. Really, that's what it is. Or you attract that person, but the only difference is that they don't affect you because they can't get underneath your skin. So again, sensitivity overload and inner critic. So being with this person, it's like it's how they obviously make you feel. And so again, when someone manipulates, they overstimulate, because now there's like you'd feel one thing, you think another thing. So Spirit's saying it's being grounded and strong within yourself, and that lies within being happy, finding other things that are going to create happiness within your life, and that's really what it is. But Spirit's saying this person, if you really ask them, they really do see like that this connection can be good. And I think it's because of who you are, who they perceive that you are. So Spirit's saying it's like, don't let this person overstimulate you. It's again, if you have other hobbies, interests, passions, things that you're involved in, put your energy there. Is again because taking a few steps away allows you to get a different perception. You talk to people, because twin flame connection is going to trigger you. And sometimes you're not going to be in the right. Sometimes you're also going to react because it's not a one-sided connection. It's not. That's why the sensitivity overload, because you're highly sensitive. And so the sensitivity, a lot of times when we have a spiritual block, will overstimulate and we get stuck and freeze, where then you don't trust yourself. And Spirit says sensitivity makes you not trust yourself. And because again, you got to shut your mind off about judging yourself. It's about, getting grounded. It's about being open. Look at this, open, where Spirit says, feeling ready to share your heart again. So you have to be ready. And Spirit saying, like, again, precious gift. It's like it's almost like this person really does see that you are a perfect gift. However, does that mean that they're 100% healed? No. So again, Spirit's saying it's how you play the game. And how you play the game is, are you going to forgive this person? Number one, that's up to you. Number two, it's how much you give this person, is how you treat yourself. This person is perceiving you as having it all together. Now, you may not. You may just be someone that shows up for yourself and are consistent, and that's how things are happening for you. And Spirit's saying you still need to not, you know, not be codependent. There's a part of this person that wants a second chance, but they don't really know, like, they still are coming in with all the same behaviorisms. The difference is they want to heal. That's the difference, which means you hold all the power. So if either you want this and you feel like it's a twin flame connection, or you don't. But this person is like, they don't want to lose you. I'm afraid of losing you. The first card that I see, they don't want to lose you. We're not going to use that deck though. I'm going to use a different deck. And that's the thing. It's not that they don't have feelings. They have feelings, but when a person's wounded, they still have the habits and behaviorisms to, sabotage a connection. When they need healing, they have wounds. It's the fact that you're different. It's the fact that you're holding this person accountable, but at the same time, you're healing yourself. You're doing what you need to do to heal yourself. And that makes the person hold themselves accountable about how they're going to treat you. You're showing them. And it's inspiring. That's the difference with the twin flame. Twin flame says, oh, this is my muse. It's like, because they need healing in the spiritual element. They're very survival and logical. I'm going to figure out this connection. I'm judging this connection. It's like, all that. It tells you again that they're not. We're trying to control it. They finally surrender. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. It's like, because they're never going to win, because God says they're never going to win. Because again, the spiritual connection is one that God has put together. There's a reason for it. There's a bigger reason. And it's to help. I want to work things out. That's again with the different cards. It's again, I'm planning on reaching out to you. And so that's the thing that you want to know. I'm so sorry. So that again, it's the same thing with a different deck. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. No new information except for that. And Spirit's saying, again, this is about you raising your energy. And we raise our energy through being around people that are going to raise our energy. And that's through doing things that we love. That's going to raise our energy. It's by becoming ourselves. It's by, again, giving and receiving of love, whether that's sharing coffee with a neighbor that's lonely, or, extending it to a person in need, or whether it's through your job. It's again, to raise your energy is to come from the highest level of consciousness, which is just unconditional love, and understand that's what the twin flame connection does. This person's wounded. They're wounded, and it's not like they're not. So the best thing that we could say is, okay, let's see, what are their wounds? Like, what should we look at if you choose to be with this person? Again, what would we have to... And Spirit says, again, don't lose yourself. and understand that they have a lot of unresolved grief from past relationships. So there's a part of this person that just doesn't trust themselves. They need to, again, like, find forgiveness, and they can't return to the past. Is that it's like this person has a hard time communicating as well, because that shows emotional vulnerability. So you might be like, oh, this person never tells me really how they feel. That'll happen, but after they will show you how they feel. They're a doer. When they really love someone, they're not a talker about it. And understand, because there's a part of them that feels like not good enough. And that comes from, like, not that doesn't come from you. That comes from all the wounds that they had before, that they brought into this connection. But that's what you'd have to deal with. You'd have to, like, be real patient, because being in a relationship with someone that has a real hard time communicating, it's like they expect you to be a little bit of a mind reader sometimes. You know what I mean? And you don't want to get into the habit of that, because then what happens is, oh, well, I thought I told you, or you should know, or it becomes expected. And, it's a thing of respect, and that's really what it is. It doesn't start with a person deliberately saying, I want to hurt you. It's that I don't feel safe to be vulnerable. So I'm going to hold back information. That is a lie. So you don't get what you want by saying, let's have a little conversation. Spirit says, remember, you don't do that by that. You put more energy into yourself, because that signals to that person, I'm not sticking around. You better either figure it out or don't. But I'm not sticking around for it. Twin flame wins, because God says, that's my connection. I put it together. This person's going to learn one way or the other what unconditional love is. They can't control every little aspect of their life. They look at their life. Their life looks like a shit show. They're stuck in grief because of one bad relationship over another bad relationship. They don't believe in themselves, and they're the ones that created that. It's time that they learn how to surrender. And nothing will get you there faster than a twin flame connection. Well, especially one that they betrayed and didn't care when they did it. And now they're looking back and they're being like, I don't even know that there's enough to fix this. Now I want to fix it. And I want a second chance. And I don't really know how to fix it. And all that. And Spirit says, good, fucking sit there. Sit there for a while and figure it out. Because this person's not going to do anything for you. Nothing for you. And Spirit says that they need it, because their heart's closed. When they get off their ass, they're going to force the heart open. It's, again, and you have to make them do it. Otherwise, you don't heal what you need to heal for yourself. And that's really, again, how you see it, without staring at it, demanding it, asking for it. I have this connection, but this is what it looks like. Spirit says, twin flame connection, there's a runner and a chaser all the time. It's time that the scales balance out, Spirit says, because I'm tired. It's like that this person likes to get in their own way and oppress you. Look, your inner child wound, oppression, shame, making you feel bad. Again, like, not allowed to be your truth. By not giving any time and attention. And so it affected, I always would say the water element is the second chakra, because we go with the flow of life through the passion for life. Water is that emotional center, but it's also the way that we need to be. We need to be able to go with the flow of life. And we don't have control over life. We only have control over ourselves, which goes back to the beginning of the reading, where Spirit says, don't get overstimulated. Go with the flow of life. Even though, again, like you said, this person wants to oppress you. This isn't even suppress. Sorry, it's a oppress. It's a worse card. It's a worser card, I was going to say. And it's because, like, other people may, be like helping this person. I only say that because the hand that's on the shoulder, or it's just a person that wants to keep you down. It's like, because they're not don't rise. But in this instance, it's not like this person wants to keep you down. They're just down. It's like they're coming back as like the same unhealed person. The only thing is, it's like I'm willing to surrender to what I need to do to be with you, which means you're the one that's running the show. And the reason why is because you're going to need to speak your truth. You're going to need to ask for what you want. You're going to need to. It's like your relationships that haven't looked good too because maybe you're just so easygoing. Oh, I don't care, whatever you want. And spirit says no. It's about you directing. Because when you are so easygoing and you take on a person that is wounded, it just brings you back to shame. That's really what it is. And so it's about you were brought up in an environment with a parent that oppressed you, that didn't let you also have your voice. So you have to ask for things. God says, I made you in my image. And so the throat chakra is we ask for what we need. It's again, otherwise it doesn't happen, and so spirit saying that means you'll be the one that's victimized. You'll be the one that's in shame if you don't stand to your highest level because this person isn't 100% healed. We know that they're not 100% healed. They have feelings for you. Spirit says you do that by, again, going out and playing. And that says going out and playing. It's like you have to get in the passion for life. And that's by doing things that you love. And it's by, connecting to other people and doing things that, like you said, stir up your soul so that this person, you're the muse for this person, but you also need to create yourself. So when you're not codependent, because that's the problem with twin flame connections, if they don't heal, you're dealing with two people that are not healed, but they both people know who they're dealing with. So they have to step it up to like their version because it's like they're just otherwise the relationship doesn't work. So that's why I said it's choice. And so spirit's saying this is about you like still like I feel like there's a naive energy to you that was very like playful and childlike and fun like this, just very spiritual energy. And spirit saying it's like that was always there. It was just oppressed. It was suppressed. Where maybe you were brought up in an environment where your parents were like, you're going to get great grades in school and we don't care about that. What you want to do, we want to know where you're going to college. So again, it's like just oppressed. And if you say, well, I'm into this and it's like healing or anything spiritual, like again, you might have been shamed for it. Well, that's witchcraft or whatever. Spirit's saying it's to embrace your energy, your true energy. It's like because that's going to give this person confidence, step into their true energy. And also, like, that's how your path unfolds, and Spirit saying, remember, the twin flame is in separation for time, but everyone's healing during that time, not just that person. That person's healing. You can see it because they're like, how am I going to come back? How am I going to fix it? But Spirit says, but what about your healing? Again, Spirit saying, we know what your healing is. It's the fact that you need to create balance within your life, but it's also within being able to like a lot of the healing for you is when the person comes back and you're in the relationship and you're telling this person what you need to do and you're actually seeing them do it. You actually learn their language of unconditional love, which is not obviously the same as your language of unconditional love, but they do bring things to the table. It's not like they don't. It's like they bring a lot to the table. A twin flame connection feels like your other half because they bring out everywhere where you're wounded, they have a gift and vice versa. So it feels like, oh, that's my person. And it's like, but why does it look so difficult? It's difficult because there's wounding. We would need to be with someone that we really had unconditional love for to put up with all those triggers, to put up to they put us through hell. They will put you through hell. It's the worst relationship in the world. That's what it feels like. But Spirit says is again, there's a movement coming. This person wants commitment. I wanted to see again, and that's really what it is. And what's at hand, what is biggest fear that we need to look at? And the biggest fear would be rejection. Again, you not being open to it. So it keeps saying the same thing. And so Spirit's saying that's why you connected to this person, because you're going to see a different outcome. You're going to see somebody that actually, instead of them suppressing you, is going to help you flourish if you allow the relationship. Now, it's a faith walk. Remember, Spirit says, yeah, I'll have to also transmute the negative energy. And that's by doing more things, because you can't give this person that much time. It means that relationships happen over time. A lot of times, codependency relationships, either it's off or it's 1,000% on. It's like where there's no balance to the connection. And Spirit says, so, you have to learn balance, and balance comes in, yes, flowing with grace. And that's through the difficulties of, the experiences that happen, because they are going to happen through the triggers. But it's also to Spirit saying whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever it is that you have like a desire to do, well, now would be the time to take a leap of faith, because risks are going to be rewarding. And so it's not about putting any energy towards the relationship, because this person kind of has to run after you. They have to fix this. They have to be the one that comes back and really surrenders and apologizes. And they're going to, it says it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. However, Spirit says that doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing. That's the key with the twin flame. Otherwise, your relationship doesn't really move ahead. It doesn't do anything, because you still know who you're dealing with. Spirit says you still need to be on your like your soul's path, creating yourself, and always align your actions with your values. And if this person is not doing that, then you don't allow them back. You're the one that holds the standard. And Spirit says then you can again move into brighter horizons, where you're like envision it happening if that's what you want, but you get to envision a happy future, because Spirit's saying this person can't do anything to you. The illusion is that they can, but if only if you allow them to, which means they're going to come back. You don't let them in your life 1,000%. You don't. It's again, you get out of 100, you get 10%. You have to earn your way back, and you don't just get to come back in. The twin flame has to learn how to open up their heart. They need to be taught how to treat you, and that's not an overnight thing, because people are creatures of habit, and the habit that they formed way before you ever came into their life that got them shitty results, which is why they're stuck in grief, which is why they're like, I don't really know what this relationship, because of that. Well, as Spirit says, again, that's not your problem. That's not your problem. You don't need to be that compassionate to this person. And the reason why is because, hey, listen, you keep creating the same things, and you manipulate, you strategize, you try to get where this is what that is. You've created all of it. I'm not paying for any of what happened to you in the past. I hold to this standard. If you can't come into the fucking store and pay for whatever the item is that you want, you don't get to leave the store with it. I hold to a certain standard. It's only going to benefit them in the long run, because you're making them hold to a standard for themselves. They should want that. And if they don't want that, then they're not your person. But they'll say that they want to, they just don't know how to do it. And Spirit says, tough shit. This is about you, again, being able to release the limited beliefs that no longer serve you. And once you hold to that standard, that's what you're doing. Because this person will do it, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to have to hold them accountable. And Spirit says, in the beginning, kind of feels a little bit like you're the parent, but the difference is it's like you're not parenting them, because you're not saying a damn word. You're not giving them the attention, and that you're making them figure it out for themselves. Because when you have to tell a person, it ruins the intimacy. It ruins the trust. And that fire of the twin flame, like it winds up like just it winds up not being a twin flame anymore because you're like, well, you're continuously disappointed. Where when you're putting the energy into yourself, then like the person comes back and you're in a better place than where you were before because you did the work yourself. So what you're seeing is like, you can't really affect me. My life is still whatever, but I'm still not stupid. I'm not going to just let you in my life because then you can affect me. So you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself. Relationships happen over time. Now you might say, I don't want to do all that. And Spirit says, you don't have to. But understand, I don't care because guess what? They already did the work. If they're coming back and they surrendered their ego, guess what? They're really going to learn if you say, I don't want to be with them because, hey, you don't know what you got till it's gone. You're a loss. You created it. They'll never do that again with anybody else, ever. It's like not somebody that they really have feelings for, but they'll never have the feelings that they have for like you because this person is emotionally like a little bit off, like checked out, like they don't really have feelings, it looks like. And this is a once in a lifetime type of relationship that they can't cut the cord, that they've tried. They finally came to a place of surrender. They're like, it feels more uncomfortable now for them to, be away from you. And that's why Spirit's saying, well, you got all the power. It's like, again, so it's how you want to play the game. And so, twin flames are kind of like that. And Spirit's saying, let's pull like just two more. You got the deep wisdom to ascend life. Again, see a different version. And we end off with one more card. So Spirit says you can have exactly what you want. Because I have this person like eating out of the palm of your hand. Be like, because they don't know. It's like, but I feel like part of them went through this whole thing to like realize, wow, like they're kind of happy that they can actually like have a connection with somebody, you know. And Spirit says, peace. Don't let anyone, and this is hard with the twin flame, like don't like unwavering in the face of fear. You come to your senses, embrace challenges, and you're determined to think with gentleness and calm. You find inner silence and you become a manifestation of peace. Like you don't let this person emotionally dictate to you, but you do like understand that a lot of this relationship is in God's hands, is what Spirit says. So Spirit's saying your trust in life is implicit. God's greater knowing and greater love guides your heart and your choices. Your faith is steady and you remain true to your own light. Everything unfolds according to God's will. So whether you think like this person is not my person, Spirit says they actually are your person. It's just right now they're in the doghouse and they're supposed to be in the doghouse because they thought they were gonna play the game and they did, which is I want to have my cake and be sad and be handicapped and never give you anything. But Spirit's saying it's like, I think you standing up for yourself too was inspiring. Like this person has gotten away with that behavior before, and that's part of the reason why their relationships don't work out. It's like that's the thing that's ironic. It's like this person is like, this relationship is hard. I can't control it, but I still have feelings for it. What do I do? Because they really tried to do everything. So Spirit says, remember, if you want this person, is going to be to deal with them with gentleness and kindness because they have a lot of spiritual blockages when it comes to like relationships. That's why they're like very logical and analytical. And it was just what they were born into, the same way that you were born into. This is the way that they're dealing with it. And unfortunately, nothing will dig out those karmic blockages that are from ancestral, like a twin flame connection, because you weren't taught what unconditional love was. Where Spirit's saying, that's why I have to show you. It's not easy. It's not what you think that it is. It's actually this. And you're like, this is hard. And Spirit says, love is patient, love is kind. Love has perseverance and strength and all the energies that a lot of times you wouldn't think that you would need. Because again, love should make you feel safe and comfortable and this and that. No, it makes you grow and it makes you change and it makes you evolve. But it makes it easier to do those things because the focus isn't on those things, it's on the person that you love. And that's the whole point to this story. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated. If you do, give it a like. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I will be having, putting up a school class tonight. I will, if you belong to my platform school and my shadow healing coaching, life coaching program. I love it because it's on Zoom. So you get to see me, I get to see you. I don't know, it's more personable. Like you're able to ask questions. We always pick a topic, we do oracle reading, and then you ask questions, and then we do healing exercises, PDFs, whether that's cognitive therapy, a lot of times healing to understand what those spiritual blockages are, and then the healing exercises to recondition your mind, recondition your body mind connection, which unfortunately trauma does create hypervigilance a lot of times. You have to recondition the nervous system. And the reason why is because, again, we become automatic. So the breath work helps. And it's just a community that you can share your problems with. Like I said, you never want to share your problems with people that you just start to date or you just meet. Like you shouldn't be talking about that at all, really, unless it's in a safe space. And the reason why is because people have a funny way of treating you the same way. And I said it in the beginning and I say it at the end. So I don't know who that message is for. You might have said I told them too, and they did that to me also. The Spirit says that's how people are. So again, it's a safe space that you can, not no one that's in the group is going to share your information outside of the group, but you'll get, the support that you need. And that's the whole point of the group. It's not just about learning and not just about healing, but also helping you to create the life and the life that you want to experience. A lot of times people heal, but they never fix their life. They never see anything. And then something new comes up. So we learn how to go with the flow of life through being in the passion for life. And that's connected to your soul's path. So teach you how to find that. It's an all-inclusive coaching program and it's done in a group. So it's interactive. You don't get to talk every single time, depending on how many people show up for class. However, you do learn and you do get to ask questions. And like I said, it's all about the support. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Don't forget to like the video. I'll be on. You'll see the link posted. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.